Hi, I'm Jeff Harold with the Lake County Art League, and we're here today. We're having a conversation with an artist, a local artist, Sanjukta Acharya, and I hope I got that pronounced correctly.
Yeah,
She and I went through this a bit before the interview started, so I think I've got it right and what have you. So, all right. First of all, Sanjukta, would you tell us a little about your history because you did not start out as an artist?
yeah.
So tell us about it.
First of all, I'd like to thank you and Lake County Art League for having me here. I'm truly honored to be here today. So, didn't start out as an artist. Yes, I have always loved drawing and painting, but when I was a child, but then I grew up in India. I When I went to college, I majored in advertising and learned applied art, that is commercial art. And then I joined an ad agency and worked there, got married, had my daughter. But all this while, I was in touch with painting, not off and on, not regularly, but I was painting. And I was using a type of paint which is like similar to gouache. It's called a different name in India. It was gouache watercolor paint, and then I started dabbling a little bit in oil also. And then my husband got transferred here in the US. And when we came here, I just visited the library because I loved reading, and I thought I'll just pick up some books to read. And oh my, I discovered there a whole and shelves full of books on art, painting, drawing, and I just felt like a kid in a candy store. Like I started bringing those books home and reading through it, going through it voraciously. I used to like read the whole day. My husband was in office and daughter was in school, so I had a lot of time in my hands. I started reading and reading, and even like I'd stay up at night, quite late at night, reading those, like I'm reading a thriller page turner kind of a thing. I was so fascinated with what I was learning. And then I started watching videos so that I can see all the techniques which I'm reading about, I can see in action. So I did a lot of those things. I was painting my
So so,
sorry, what
so
were you?
the books you were reading are art books, right?
Yeah, art books,
So
yeah,
so
all
that's
of
where you're
them.
learning it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, all of them are art books related to drawing, to different painting techniques. And I then actually I got into this transparent watercolor which I had never used before. And I really fell in love with it, how it behaves, because I was also practicing myself all this time when I was reading and learning. I kept practicing. And eventually what happened, like I saw I have like a body of work. So I started my own Facebook page. So I started posting those paintings there, like just to see. The people were reacting nicely. And then someone from California actually contacted me and said, I like one of your paintings and I wanted to buy it. So that was my first sale. Total stranger, I didn't know, and he contacted me. And then I thought, oh, people are liking my stuff, so I think I should look for more avenues where I can put out my art. So I was researching and I came across this Sachi Art online gallery, and so I put out some of my paintings, which then started to sell. So I thought, okay, it's good, it feels really good. And I started applying to various exhibitions on, like, juried exhibitions here locally and also elsewhere. Like one of my still life painting, oil painting, won a international juried competition. I got the merit prize award. It was hosted by
Now, now
Tera.
that was the sunflowers in the vase.
That
Is that
no,
or
that was a different. That
oh
Sunflower and the Vase won the best of show in Starline, and it
okay
also got published in a UK magazine. Also, that
okay
painting. I'm talking about another one which has a like meditating frog. It's called
ah
aromatherapy. That one got
oh
the Merit Prize
okay.
award.
We'll see that later when we look at your the gallery's
Sure.
website that you're selling on. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that one got the merit prize in Terravarna. That was a juried online international competition. And then I started getting awards here and there, and it really feels good, you know. So now and Antioch, I also found during this time Antioch Fine Arts Foundation, and I did a few exhibitions with them too. And you can see behind me there is a kingfisher couple sitting there. This is
Yeah,
actually a print of my watercolor. This painting was got sold from Antioch Gallery actually when it was on display during one of the exhibitions there.
yeah,
So
good.
that's my story. And kind of I also started to dabble in other mediums except watercolor and oil. I started to do some other mediums as well in the past 1 or 2 years, and because I just love experimenting, I am
Yeah,
using oil pastels, colored pencils, and alcohol markers. So I love to paint all the time so I'm
so
experimenting all the
so
time.
so do you have a favorite medium?
Yeah, my favorite is always watercolor and oil. That is my
Okay,
favorite. Yeah. But other
okay,
mediums I love to try out. Yeah. And I think I am a like student forever. I'm always learning.
yeah. Oh, that's the only way to be. I mean, you have to keep learning, and even
Yeah.
now,
You
I
never
teach.
stop learning.
I teach photography at College Lake County, and one of the reasons I teach is one to support my habit of photography. But
Mhm.
I just found that teaching keeps me in touch with students, and I learn every time I teach, every class I teach. I learn something
Mhm.
different because I have to
Yeah, sure.
they
Yeah.
ask a question and I have to answer it, or they come up with something. One of my students comes up with a picture of something. I say, "Wow, that's a really good idea. I never thought about doing something like that." So yeah,
Actually,
it's
same thing happens with me. I also teach from home. I give one-to-one lessons to both kids
ah
and adults. Yeah,
okay,
so what you were telling, I can actually like agree. I'll have to agree with that. When they ask questions, it's a like continuous process. You also explain to them, and it's like you are jogging your memories about every
yeah,
technique and everything.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you teach at home, is that in person or do you do a Zoom or
No, in
which
person.
you do it in person? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Some mediums that are, I think that's usually about the best way to do it for like oil painting, what have you. Uh,
Mhm.
I prefer in person for my photography class. When I teach Photoshop, I do it over Zoom because it's even better over Zoom than it is in person. So, and then
Mhm.
we also have artists like Phil Shorn, who teaches both in person and online,
Mhm.
and another well-known artist. But yeah, that's good. Teaching it sort of keeps you thinking and keeps you,
Yeah.
experimenting and learning new things, or
Yeah.
remembering old things that now seem to be new.
Yeah.
One way or the
Yeah.
other. Yeah,
And it's very interesting to learn how other people's perspective, like how they are seeing. When I read it, I took it in a way, and how they are interpreting, and it's very interesting.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, a question. You said you came to America from India when your husband got transferred. What does he do?
He's an engineer.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and let's talk about a couple pictures here. Now, these are the pictures that were in the intro. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and I'd ask you to send some that you particularly liked or had something you could say about them, what have you. So let's start with this one right here. Now, is this watercolor?
Yeah, this is watercolor.
Okay, that's what I thought.
This
Okay.
actually, I love this bougainvillea flowers. Where in India you see it like in a lot of places. It's a tropical flower, as you know.
Yeah.
So I actually saw this when I love buying plants. And my house is full of plants. When I was like went for some plant shopping in a nursery, I saw these flowers, and I said, "Oh, lovely!" I got to see it after a long time. I just took some pictures, and I
Yeah.
loved this one. I saw I'll do the composition in this way, like zoom in on the flowers a bit more, and I did a lot of work with the veins and everything. I don't know whether you can make out from here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
tiny little veins which I did with very fine
Oh,
detailed brush.
oh yeah, yeah. When you blow it up a bit, like I'm looking at it on a larger monitor, and I can see all the fine detail in these, and
Yeah,
really remarkable.
I really
I don't
started
have
this.
the patience to do something like that personally, and that's why I do photography, I guess, but yeah, those are beautiful. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, now I know you recently did a demo for us at the Lake County Art League, and
Mhm.
you did a watercolor from a picture. Do you do a lot of painting from pictures or photos that
Yeah,
you find?
yes. I take my own reference photos actually. I have like always clicking with my phone anywhere I go, anything I like. I love nature, like, so even if it's a landscape or I'm taking some pictures of birds, animals, like flowers. So I
Yeah,
keep on clicking, and I don't all the time like do my compositions from a single photograph. I take like from different angles. You'll understand your photograph
yes.
yourself.
Oh
So
yeah,
from different angles, and then I kind of think up a composition.
yeah. Okay, and then we have this one too, which again is it looks like an actual garden or
Yeah,
park.
this is actually a park in my very near to my house. I often go there for walks. This is Deer Path Park behind
Okay.
my house, and this is like I was walking there one day and saw this. I love the reflection in the water, and the thing
Yeah.
is like I've always loved fall. Like fall is my favorite season, so I thought why not try something in totally green. It's summer, so everything is green. So I thought I'll just go green this time and see, because I
Yeah.
have heard a lot of artists say green is very tricky, like in a landscape if you're using green all the time. But then I just wanted to see how it turns up.
Yeah. Well, that one worked out very well for you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's a watercolor, obviously.
Yeah, that's watercolor.
Okay, and then we have this one is the other one in there.
Yeah, this is an oil painting.
Yeah, and this is interesting. This is a very excellent work as far as the realism and everything goes, composition, whatever. Uh,
Thank you.
I noticed as you blow it up though, you actually see some of the texture of the canvas. Do you do that intentionally, or is that just the
No,
way it
it
was?
was not intentional. It's just the
Okay, it could be the
texture.
photograph. Yeah, it could be the photograph because sometimes you get the light coming the
Yeah,
wrong way when you're taking a picture of it. But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
this obviously is a still life that you did yourself.
Yes, I actually set up my own still lifes. Like I set up the composition. This is an anthurium plant I have. I told you I love buying plants. So uh, this is interesting actually. I have this plant, and then I got this glass chopping board. There's a black glass chopping board which I got for my kitchen,
Yeah,
and while cutting vegetables one day, I saw these reflections on that glass board. I felt, wow, it's nice. It can be a good composition for one of my paintings. And
yeah,
it's just started like that. And I saw these colorful vegetables on it. And so I thought of this composition like that. It just came to me.
yeah. The flower that you picked out is interesting because I've seen those and
Mhm.
they have such a plastic look to them.
Yes, yes.
All right.
They have a very waxy kind of surface. Like,
Yeah, and there was one we were down at the Chicago Botanic Gardens and going through there, and I found this one plant, and I swear I had to stop and I had to go back because I thought it was just like a metal stake or design,
oh,
it looks metal. It,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
no doubt about it. So I took a couple of pictures of it. Uh, but it just surprises me how plants, they have so many different appearances. They can range from
yeah.
soft and fluffy to metallic looking or plastic looking. It's the variety is just wonderful as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And there is so much, like when I draw flowers and leaves, like I feel like you see it in a different way. You see all the details more closely.
Yeah, you well, especially when uh, you're drawing them, and
Yeah,
especially if you're going for more realism in them.
yeah,
That you do look more close at things. You also sometimes you don't look though at the plant from a different perspective.
Yes.
Okay, I was working on a series of photographs called Secret Life of Flowers. And the whole purpose of it was to look at the flowers and photograph them from a perspective that people normally don't see and don't photograph,
Um,
you know.
yeah.
And the one I took actually took first place in photography in June for the Starline exhibition.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so
That's great.
it, I like seeing that. I love photographing flowers, but I get tired of doing the same photograph.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's with any subject. I get tired of doing the same photograph over and over again. That's why I don't
Hmm.
shoot a lot of these iconic landscapes and what have you. It's like, you know, okay, there's this one curved road up in Door County that we go to in Wisconsin. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I've been there. It's beautiful
yeah,
during the
and it's like everyone and their brothers and uncles and kids take the same photograph, and
year.
it's an excellent photograph. It's an
Yeah.
excellent composition going, especially in fall with the fall colors, and you got
Yeah.
this road
Yeah.
twisting through, and you can see the twists and everything like a snake
Yes.
walking through. And it's a really a great photograph. I refuse to
Yeah.
photograph it though because it's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to photograph the same thing the same way that everyone else in the world has done it
I
with
know.
their cell phone or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta look at things differently, and when you paint them, I'm sure you look at
That's
it
why when
differently
I
too.
paint, yeah, yeah, I change things a lot. I tweak around. I don't just copy a photograph from start to finish. I change a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the advantage you have over me. Well, to some extent, to some extent. Yeah, I've had this discussion before with people. Uh, they think it's easy to just, oh, you just took a photograph. I can do that. Well, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
waited
but
six
there's a lot of
months. Well,
post processing,
I've had
right?
times where I've waited 6 months for the right weather conditions to go out and photograph something, and
I
got
know
excellent results from it, and then there are times when it's a split second decision
exactly.
that, oh, I see it, I got to get it. And I can then manipulate stuff once I get it in with photo
Yeah.
software of some sort. But for an artist, to me, it's sort of like uh, good and bad. Okay. The bad is that when you start off, you got this piece of blank canvas or paper, and you got to figure out, okay, I got to fill that. How am I going to do
Yeah.
that? All right.
Yeah.
So you're not, you may have a scene already in mind, but if you don't, then
Mhm.
it's sort of like, I don't know if artist block is a valid thing or not, like writer's block, but
Thankfully, I didn't reach that point yet. I still have my mind filled with different ideas which I'm yet to put into paper. But yeah, I haven't come across
well,
artist
that's
block as
good.
yet.
That's good. Well, that's the other thing is once you have an idea, then you have some more freedom in most cases than myself
Mhm.
with my digital work uh,
Yeah,
to make changes.
yeah,
And you don't have to paint the exact blue sky. I mean, if you want the sky to be pink, then you do pink.
exactly.
It's like the demo you did for us. Okay, if you remember,
Yeah.
you did the sky, you were doing it in blue, but then you added some pink down at the bottom because you wanted to indicate that it was a sunset.
It
That
kind of,
was
yeah,
not in the
unifies the
picture.
picture. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I felt like it kind of unifies the picture. I'm putting a lot of reds and oranges in the trees, and also I just don't wanted the sky to be totally separate. I
yeah.
just want a unifying effect. So I just put a. There was actually a very faint pinkish glow at the bottom, which I just
Oh,
enhanced, like
very, very faint, very faint.
very.
Because I
So
was
I kind
watching
of
what you were doing as we were recording it. So, yeah, it was
I
faint.
I
So I give
I
you that.
sometimes do that. Yeah, I push colors a bit if I feel it necessary, and I'll subdue some. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's fine. That's great. I mean, that's one of the freedoms that you have. Like I say, with digital art now, we can do that. When I
yeah,
first started photographing back in the days between the invention of fire and the invention of the wheel, uh,
mhm,
we just had film, and it would be very hard to change colors and stuff like that with as effectively
Mhm.
as we can now with digital, and no
Yeah.
way near as effective as an artist could choose what colors. I mean, just
Yes.
look at some of the,
Yeah.
one of those famous oil paintings is Van Gogh's Starry Night.
Starry Night. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think, okay, that's pretty far from realism, but man, you get the effect and everything, and the colors and everything. His are great. There's another story about that with the
Yeah,
trees, but I won't go into
I'm a
that.
great fan. You know
But
what happened? I actually went to the Van Gogh immersive show there in Chicago, and I saw there, like, I have always loved his paintings and everything, but when you see it in such a big scale, I was seeing the brush strokes he
oh
used,
yeah,
like animated the brush, and it was so methodical. So the colors he has put next to each other, and those reflections on the water, it was amazing. Like, you didn't don't get to see it in that macro
yeah,
scale all the time. Like the whole
yeah,
wall is
yeah,
covered with the painting.
yeah. I think uh, the top end of that whole concept is pointillism. With Surratt was the first one to do that, really, and he painted by placing dots of color
Dots,
in
yeah,
a and the whole thing is basically a physiology with the humans is how they see things, because if you
yeah,
stand back from it, okay, you don't see it as dots, you actually see it as colors and
yeah. How
forms.
your eye interprets, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and if you want green in there, you put a blue dot next to the yellow dots, or whatever. uh but yeah, I saw one of his up close, and it's just
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, these guys are famous and masters for a reason.
yeah,
uh
of course.
Okay, speaking of masters, okay, let's take a look at your some pictures here on your uh, sashi art. Is that what it's called?
Sachi art, yeah.
Sachi art. Okay, all right, and this is the site. All right, and you have a number of things in here, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and you see the ones we just talked about down there. Now, this one right here is the one that I was just mentioning, where you actually brought
Yeah.
this in to us for the demo so we could see it, and
Mhm.
it's very good. Uh,
Thank you.
and I need to, whoops, whoops, where did we go here? Okay, yeah, I lose my mouse every once in a while. I need a mouse trap for him. Okay, now do you have? Oh, oh, come on. I hate
Yeah,
ads.
they keep
Hate
doing
ads.
this.
Is this the one you were talking about?
Yeah, this one got the Merit Prize award. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
This one,
Yeah.
actually, I have this meditating frog at home. So it's kind of funny. And these flowers are actually from my own backyard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought
Uh,
of putting
uh,
this up as a, you know,
trying to think of what those lilacs
yeah,
are.
this is
Those are
lilac.
lilacs. Yeah, we have a lilac bush here. My wife's
Mhm.
parents actually had a whole row of lilac trees. I guess they were
Oh,
huge
wow.
in their backyard, bordering their backyard. And so my wife loves those. We both enjoy the smell, the fragrance of them, and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They look beautiful in the bloom. So I thought of putting these two together, and as the name says it all, aromatherapy.
yeah, yeah, very good. I like that. Okay, now I had another question here for you, because I know for example that we saw this guy on the wall behind you. That's a print. This is
Yeah, yeah.
sold. Okay. And what sort of birds are those?
These are actually bee eaters. They're called bee
Ah,
eater birds. Yeah.
yeah, because that's a very, very
They're very
interesting
colorful.
bird. I've
Yeah.
never seen. Yeah, yeah. Uh, ads. God, I hate ads.
I know.
Oops. But I guess it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing. that I wanted to talk about real quick here is you do a lot of birds and you do some wildlife. Now, the
Yeah.
pictures of the tiger and the leopard stuff, is that something that you are familiar with from India, or is it just
Yeah, yeah, from India. Whenever I go to the zoo and everywhere, I take pictures. And actually, these tigers and all, I kind of visualize those compositions. I do a lot of sketches, like before I do the drawing.
yeah,
So there are a lot of sketches, and I studied the like the fur, how it grows, and I did a lot of preparation before I went into this composition.
yeah,
It's actually quite a big canvas. It's 30
I
by
would imagine.
40. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that this is a large painting too, but you have
Yeah.
wonderful detail in it. I mean, the fur and everything is excellent job on that. So
Yeah, I walked out all those things because I was imagining this, and I got the reference from different photos of tigers I have clicked over the ages, and then I have to think about the light and the values and how I'm going to put that, how I want to put the tiger on focus, and
yeah,
just I want the background in this kind of color. So I didn't use too much of color here. I just wanted to keep it in this kind of value
yeah,
range.
yeah, and that's excellent. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay. Go back and yeah, 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 40 inches wide by 30 inches high. Yeah, that's big. Big. The leopard is nice too. The two lionesses over here on this are
Yeah.
interesting composition. But I want to go and you have a lot of birds.
Yeah,
Uh
I started doing birds and I loved it. I think I did 10 or yeah, 10, 11 of them.
where did I see? I saw someplace else. Where did I see that? You have a lot more birds than are showing here.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's in the next page probably.
Oh, 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 I gotta go to the next page.
Yeah.
Whoops, those are other people. Okay,
So
question
if you
is
click on
this.
that view all 65
Ah,
artworks,
there you go.
it'll
There you go. Yep, I see it now. That's what I hit before. Okay, so this is a more comprehensive list of things that you've done or what have you. All right, and there are the two birds, but then the two. I guess these are herons. They look sort of like a heron
these are
of some sort,
kingfishers.
but they're what?
Kingfisher birds.
Kingfisher. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, but you have some really colorful birds here now. I see
Yeah.
the parrot down here. Some of these other birds. I'm assuming that you've used close to real colors on these birds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
You try to keep
Yeah.
them. You
That
have
colorful bird you see, it's an African roller bird. That's the
wi-
pink, blue, and orange one. Yeah, it's called a roller bird.
okay, this guy.
Yeah, yeah. This guy is actually this color, colorful like this.
Oh yeah, very nice. Okay, and again, I'm assuming you do those from a photograph of something or that you found.
Yeah, it's
I
not actually from a photograph. What I do is I watch a lot of this nature documentaries, and
ah,
yeah, I get sometimes I get screenshots and something. Then I look up this bird and see it in different like forms and different poses, and then I'll do my own sketching and from those photographs I'll do my own compositions, putting the bird in a certain
yeah,
way. But I need to study their like feather, the colors, how the feathers you know
yes,
behave
yeah, yeah,
look like.
yeah. This I found this guy interesting.
Yeah, it's an oriole. Yeah,
That's an Oriole.
here actually I did some experiment. Yeah, oriole.
Huh.
uh, I did some experimenting with the background. I put some salt at some stage, so you see that thing happening behind the bird.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
like because of salt I put in wet
Is
paint.
is this a watercolor or
Yeah,
oil?
this is a watercolor.
Okay, I was gonna say because I've seen demos of people doing that with salt and watercolor, and that's why I wondered. But you know, you've got nice detail and everything in here. Uh,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a little hard to tell, you know, unless you see it in real life, whether it's an
Mhm.
oil or watercolor painting. And this one, you know, all of yours have a lot of nice detail in the feathers and everything in it. So
Yeah, you can get actually various different effects with what kind of salt you are using, if it's a kosher salt or just normal table salt. So it gives different effects. And when, at what point you are putting the salt in, like how wet is the paper,
yeah,
that also will determine of like how it looks.
huh, yeah, yeah, it's a nice effect.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have what else? We got the dog in there, and I'm assuming
This
that's it.
dog actually, I saw, we went for a vacation in Mackinac Island,
Yeah,
and this dog was sitting, this is a husky which was sitting outside
yeah.
a shop. I think it was the owner's dog. And it was so quiet and calm. I just loved it. I just took some photos and of the dog.
Okay, all right, and get your squirrel, and you do some nice wildlife work here.
Yeah, the squirrel is again from my neighborhood park. I took the photo.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I got them in the back here. They love it when I put bird up seed up for the
Yeah,
birds. So, but this was an interesting one also.
yeah. This one, this is actually from some photos. I have a friend who lives in Tanzania, my school buddy. So he sometimes sends me photographs. So he
Okay,
actually gave me some of the elephants. Like he get to see a lot of elephants there. So I made this composition from there.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's a nice one.
Actually, this one got sold too, and the person who bought it from through Sachi Art, he actually contacted me and said like it's a really beautiful painting, and my wife gifted me this on our anniversary, and I really like your work here. So it was
Yeah.
a great feeling, when you get feedback like that.
Oh yeah, that's one reason why I like going to the Starline Factory Fourth Friday events. They have, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Fourth Friday of most months, and they have a huge art show. And you
Hmm.
may between the lower
Actually,
level,
I'm
which the
going
show
there
is,
this
yeah,
this
between the
this
yeah,
yeah.
between the lowest level where they have the main Fourth Friday show, then they have two upper galleries with different
Yes.
shows. Our Art League is in it this month in the upper gallery, and then there's the Overland Gallery. And
Hmm.
there is a lot of really good art there. And
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really fun time to go, and uh, there's usually a good place to sell.
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
I'll be exhibiting there on this 27th of this month.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be there. I'm in the show. One of my students made it into the show, and I'm also in the upper gallery with the Lake County Art League. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna have five pieces in there, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
So uh, okay, I have one request.
Hmm.
Okay, I recently started photographing birds, so I have, and that's what I'm showing on the Fourth Friday there and in the Art League show. Uh,
Hmm.
and you do such a wonderful job on them. Okay, but I would
Thank
like to
you.
see something different. All right, because and this is don't take this wrong. This is not derogatory. This is what wildlife photographers call them. These pictures of for example, whoops, lost my mouse again. God, I gotta get a chain for that guy. Okay, like this. They refer to them as birds on sticks. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's not derogatory. That's just a statement of it's a bird on a stick. you know,
Yeah.
and everyone takes them. I've got them, and they're good. You do a lot of painting. However,
Yeah.
I like to see, and photographs you'll see mine on Fourth Friday if you're there. Uh,
Mhm.
they do not. They are not birds on stick. They're actually birds in motion, in action. In most
Yeah.
cases, except for well, there is one that's on a stick. But
Mhm.
anyways, so I would like to see you just paint something a bird that is actually in action in flight. You
Yeah.
know, you should try
Actually,
that
it's
sometime.
very hard to click photographs myself. That's why, like, I don't want to take other people's photographs. So that's a problem I face with wildlife. That's why I like study so much. I see videos and I try to do things like that because I don't want to like copy
Well,
other people's
well,
photographs. Like,
if you have see one of mine that you would like to go ahead and do, please do. Okay,
oh, great, thank you.
I do not
That
make
off-
money at this. I'm not a professional photographer. I do it for fun and for enjoyment of seeing people enjoy work, and when they buy it, that's great. But yeah, you'll see stuff there. And actually, Phil Shorn, he's a nationally known watercolorist, or I'm sorry, color pencil artist. Yeah, his work is absolutely fantastic. Some of it sells for thousands of dollars as yours. Uh, but he's actually looking for hummingbird shots. So I gave him
Yeah.
some of mine, so different views of hummingbirds, and
Oh, that's great.
he,
I'll
yeah,
love to do that.
he was actually he actually asked me. He said, you know, I'm going to be doing a demo there that Friday,
Oh,
you know, at
yeah.
the show. So he'll be up in the upper gallery doing a demo of color pencil work. And he said, I'd like to do, you know, a hummingbird on there. Can I do one of yours? I said, sure. You know, so I sent him some. So I don't know what he's gonna do, if he's still gonna do that or not, but it'll be interesting. But yeah,
Yeah, they're so like I've seen hummingbirds in my backyard and all. It's very difficult to photograph them, like unless you have the proper gear and like it's very difficult. Yeah, I would
well,
love
it's
to.
yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, just you know, a good camera. Some of it is luck. All right, and some of it is timing, and the more
Yeah.
hummingbirds you have in one area, the better chance you have. And that's why I go down. I have hummingbirds around our house here. We put out hummingbird feeders, so we
Oh.
usually have at least two pairs of hummingbirds doing what we call the hummingbird wars because they chase
Mhm.
each other all over the place. Uh,
Oh.
and so I don't even try to shoot them here, but I'll go down to the Botanic Gardens, especially this time of year when they're migrating through there,
Mhm.
and you're gonna see four, five, six hummingbirds all in this small patch of flowers, of bushes with flowers in them,
Mhm.
and that makes it a lot more likely to get a get a good
You
shot
get
of
a
them.
good
Yeah,
picture.
so
Yeah.
but it doesn't take anything really fancy. I shot them with a 300 millimeter zoom, and it's luck when you're shooting something wildlife. You know, you shoot 100 pictures, you take 100 shots of it, you get one out, you're doing good. Okay, and especially for an amateur. Professionals, they'll probably get maybe five out of that 100. And this is what I've been told by professionals. Uh, they talk about shooting 100,000 pictures in a year of birds, and they get maybe 30, 40 pictures out of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But with digital photography, it's not a problem. So it doesn't cost you anything like it used to when you had to buy the film and have it processed and then
Yeah,
printed
I
for
know.
that. Oh, that was
Yeah.
really cut down on how many pictures you took. You were much more careful, much more discerning
And
as
you
far
don't
as
get to see when you're clicking the pictures, you didn't know what you were clicking actually.
yes, yes, that is true. So, all right. Anyway, uh, that's it. Do you have anything else you want to add in here?
Uh, Not much. I'll just say like I'm like planning to do some group lessons from my home. So if anybody interested in group classes, it would be
Okay.
great. Just
Well,
contact me.
Well, get that in the get it published over at Antioch Fine Art Gallery and also through the Lake County Art League. We'll
Mhm.
get that in one of the newsletters when you're ready to do that. So
Sure.
I do have a little poll with them. Uh, okay. Uh, all right. I have nothing else right now. It's been really
Mhm.
enjoyable talking to you, and we enjoyed the
It was great.
demonstration.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe we can do that again sometime. But
Yeah, of course.
I'm anxious to see you join us in some of our shows. You know,
Yeah.
since you've now
I
joined the
was,
Art League. So
yeah, I was thinking about it. I told you
yeah,
that day. Yeah.
yes, yes. Don't think about do it. You know, it's like Yoda. There is no try. Do or do not. You know, so don't give me that. Do it. All right,
Yeah.
then I think we can uh, go at this point. Again, thank you for doing the interview and thank you for doing the demo. All
Thank
right.
you for having me. It feels great. I had a great time talking to you too.
Okay, and if the viewers hang on for a couple seconds, we have the credits coming up, and they will have her not only her Instagram address, which you see at the bottom of the screen right now. They'll have her Facebook and the art
Sachi art.
Sashi art. Thank you, Sashi art uh, uh, link, and that'll be in the description of for the YouTube video also. Okay, so okay, thank you,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be talking to you later.
Sure. Thank you. Bye.